special Veterans Day night here in Raleigh, North Carolina. College basketball on tap. The Maine Black Bears, favorites of the America East, into town. Top 10 NC State, brutal opening week. It's their home opener tonight. 23 straight wins in this building for NC State, and a fun rivalry. Two programs, 7 all-time meetings. A lot of history between the Black Bears and the Wolfpack. Thanks for joining us on this perfect Tuesday night with Kai Crutchfield, Derek Jordan. I'm Evan Budrovich. Tournament preview tonight. NC State, 2 top 10 foes in the first week. Maine, they've made the tournament 3 of the last 4 years. How does this game get ready for both programs?
Well, I think for tonight's game, it's going to be a battle of styles. For Maine, they're going to want to really control the pace, take care of the ball, no turnovers. They want to limit the possessions, and if they can hit enough threes late in the shot clock, they can try and pull the upset tonight.
NC State's looking good, but in order to be at their best, they need to be more efficient on offense. On defense, be more intentional guarding those ball screens. Against a team like Maine that's known for their perimeter shooting, those details will matter.
And Kyle, you played at the high level. This guard matchup tonight is fantastic, starting with Zoe Brooks.
Zoe Brooks is filling up the stat sheet in more ways than one. She's showing her versatility on both ends of the floor. And with Rivers and James gone, she's had some big shoes to fill, averaging 19 points against average teams, a bunch of ranked teams, but Coach Moore is looking for her to turn in that 6th gear.
And for the Black Bears, Adriana Smith, she's a former America East Player of the Year. She was injured last year, and the Black Bears took a little bit of a step back, but they want to get back to the tournament like they did in 2024, and it's going to take the leadership of Adriana Smith. She had 25 points, 13 rebounds against St. Joe's, and tonight she's ready for the challenge of the number 10 NC State Wolfpack.
There's Amy Vashon, the All-American at Maine. Fantastic coach in her 9th year. And Wes Moore, 2nd of active wins coaches on the women's side. So much history between these programs. They met back when Kai Crutchfield was a player. We'll touch on that later tonight. And here's the tip, the home opener for the Wolfpack here in Raleigh. NC State gets the basketball. And Camille Pierre, the Vanderbilt transfer, anchors this attack. 2 double-doubles in her debut last week. A zone defense for Maine early and a quick steal. This is Esta Blauenfeld, the senior point guard with it. 2nd-year starter, transferred over from Seattle. A Maine team that graduated 4 starters, but we noted with Smith back, All-America East player. Here's Blauenfeld off on the triple.
NC State started with Trieger on Smith and try and use that height to make it harder for her to get her shot off.
Sam Jones, the sophomore guard, off and all. ACC freshman year anchors the point guard attack for the Pack. And then Zoe Brooks, she's been a 20-point machine through 2 games.
And Zoe's doing a good job facilitating, but this might be the first time that NC State has seen the zone this season, and that's a great catch by Maine's coach, as they haven't been shooting the best from the 3-point line.
What's a good zone breaker, especially early in the game?
Go ahead, Kai. Penetrate
and dish. They're going to have to sink in on that help side defender, as you see right here, till the trigger.
Great call right there, really getting into the paint and kicking out. That's how they're going to get those open shots.
Wolfpack have struggled from 3-point land in the first 2 games. Here's a quick turnover for Maine off of Sarah Talon's arms, the senior point guard.
And as Kai mentioned, Maine didn't show any zone in their first game against St. Joe's, but they know they're trying to control the pace. The Wolfpack is so much bigger, they don't think they can go one-on-one in the post, so we might see a lot of zone tonight.
Kalia Sane in the post, got in foul trouble in game 1 on Friday as Pierre goes right to work off on the layup. Maine last season's 2nd slowest team by pace in the country. Not going to push tempo. Fire up over 15 threes a game. Very Arsenal from deep. Sarah Talon off the pick. Here's a kick out. Another 3 for Sane and an air ball. Look at that block from Traeger. The sophomore anchoring this Wolfpack defense. Westmore challenges defense to be better on this end after a loss to USC Sunday. And Pierre, a quick layup.
Great example right there of the transition offense. NC State really going to try and push pace again to try and get Maine out of their game.
Wolfpack have shown in these first 2 games they can be explosive at the guard position. Westmore noted we need more ball movement after that disappointing 4th quarter loss against the Trojans in Charlotte. So Caden Samuels, the UConn guard, gets her first touch. Pierre, easy drive in. Nice defense from the Black Bears.
You like to see how the Black Bears are sucking into the paint. They know that they want to hit Tilda and Pierre in the paint, as that's been a majority of their offense this season.
You noted the national pace. So Maine, that's the second slowest in the country. They want to play this game in the 60s. NC State very aggressive. Now last year it was Sanaya Rivers and Isaiah James scoring 15 a night. They could play at such a rapid pace. This year's team still figuring out its tempo as Jones off on the triple. How early in the season can you find what speed you like to play at?
I think it depends on who's in the game. Coach Moore mentioned that a lot of his rotations are based off of matchups. NC State is known for being a fast-paced team, especially with Tilda Trigger at the 5, being able to hit that pick and pop and stretch the floor and knock down that three-point.
Here's a blocking foul on Camille Pierre, her first.
And I think with Zoe and Zam in the game, you're going to see a lot more push. Here's a look at that block right there on NC State. Just tried to get over on that pick and roll. Just didn't quite get there quick enough for Pierre.
Keep in mind that restricted arc does not apply in women's college hoops. 3 minutes in, Maine searching for points. Olivia Alvarez goes inside, but travel. That's 3 early Maine turnovers.
I like that she attacked Zoe because there was only one help defender on that end. If you do see that Zoe did a good job stopping her before she got to the paint, just kick it back out and get the offense back running.
And tonight's a good challenge for NC State because Maine's really going to spread it out and try and penetrate, and that's exactly what NC State needs to work on.
Zoe Brooks trained this summer with Kelsey Plum in her dog classes, they're called, point guard dogs. As Caden Samuels misses the 3. Wolfpack 1 of 3 from deep early. And you'd think with the size mismatch, the Wolfpack want to live in the paint tonight.
I think they've got to get into the post and then get their threes on kickouts as opposed to just passing it around the perimeter.
Esther Blauenfeld goes inside. Smith gets space. And the America East preseason player of the year off on the jumper. Brooks electric with the ball in her hands. Goes jumper. A slow start for Zoe Brooks tonight after scoring 20 on Sunday. Inside of Trigger. Nice ball movement this possession. Brooks another pass and it's intercepted.
It would have been nice to see Brooks rotated back over to that weak side as all the defense was already on the strong side and get that knockdown three-pointer in the corner.
Addie Smith finds Sane. That forward duo combined to score 30 points on Friday against St. Joe's. Here's Smith. There's the long range. First triple for the Black Bears.
Addie Smith definitely has range at 3. Hit a couple against St. Joe's, and as she gets back into rhythm off of that injury, she's going to get even better. Smith
ranks 15th in Maine program history in scoring. Still a season to go for the homegrown native. Trigger off on the triple. It's 5 Wolfpack threes early.
I'd like to see State get more paint touches. Once they do that, that'll have Maine on their toes defensively, and then they'll get even open shots on that three-point line.
Living in the paint allowed the Wolfpack to score 80 points a game last year. That was top 20 in the country. A lot of balance with Rivers and James anchoring. Smith goes inside. Contested layup. Pierre the rebound. 5 minutes in, Maine has limited the transition of the pack. Jones, a foul on the ground. First team foul on Maine. And that leads to immediate timeout. Low scoring first 5 minutes in the Wolfpack home opener, leading Maine by 2. Vashon, head coach of Maine, was a 4-time all-conference standout for the Black Bears. 4 straight tournament appearances, including a matchup here in Raleigh back during her sophomore year. The assist numbers are fantastic. The Maine program record in career dimes. She's in the top 30 among players all-time in career assists. And talking to Coach Vashon this week, it's not just the Hall of Fame pedigree, it's what she's bringing to this program, and so far a good start for her Maine team.
It really is for Coach Vashon, and she talked a little bit about that NC State game was a struggle, but the next year in 1999, they went and played Stanford in the NCAA tournament, got the program's only NCAA tournament win, and she's looking to, as a coach, try and replicate that success.
Right now, Maine's defense limiting the pack to a lot of contested jumpers. And out of this timeout, same 5 for the Wolfpack. Active hands from Kalia Sane, the junior forward out of Iowa. This is Sane's 3rd stop. Kirkwood Community College, Lindenwood University. Not a lot of times at the mid-major level you say, hey, this is a big portal addition, but Coach Vashon loved Sane's activity. Clock inside of 10. Jones too easy, but misses the bunny. And Trigger, like a tree in the middle of the paint, gets the rebound. Huge size mismatch and a foul That's on Lizzie Gruber, the 6'3" freshman.
One thing I really like about Tilda in her rebounding is that she is going up high and keeping it high. Reminds me a little bit of the way Elisa Cunane used to rebound so that people couldn't grab it. Here we'll take a look at Pierre trying to get the shot here. Did get a foul going up.
So Camille Pierre, one of the star transfer additions for the Pack in the offseason. She shined 2 double-doubles in her debut.
And she's been a great addition to this NC State team as they run a lot of 4 out and 4 high sets. As you mentioned, she's a walking double-double for Vandy, and she's just looking to keep that up here at NC State this year.
She's looking to get her contact lenses right. You see her eyes battling on these free throws. The bright lights of Raleigh, 23-game home win streak. Pack, who came up just 1 point short of 2 ranked wins, fell to USC Sunday. And this defense so active in the first 6 minutes. Now Amaya Donaldson comes off the bench, Richards senior point guard. There was no space to operate for the Black Bears, so Smith goes baseline. Missed layup. Smith wrestles for the board, and the Black Bears turn it over. This is Zam Jones. Turns on the gas pedal. Nice job recovering on that fast break play. Pierre off on the jumper, and you can see why Maine's a slow tempo team. They really control the clock.
Right, they don't necessarily crash the glass that much. They want to get back. They're really packing it in, forcing NC State to take perimeter shots.
They forced the Pack to miss 6 straight shots. Here's Sane swinging it. Smith another 3. Here comes Zoe Brooks. The ball in her hand is electric. That time a bit off. After 2 big ranked opponents, too, you can sort of sense the room. The whole building's waiting to explode. It just hasn't happened yet.
And you can see that Coach Moore is trying to get them back up. It has to come within the people that are on the court. Someone has to give that spark, give that energy for NC State.
How about this ball movement from Maine? Smith goes into 3. Here's Sane off on the triple. Maine last year over 20 3-point attempts a game. They led the America East. That's an offensive foul. Nice charge drawn by Sane.
And one thing that this pace does, it sort of lulls NC State to sleep a little bit. The crowd hasn't really gotten into it. We're going to see Destiny Lunan come in. Here's Zam Jones right here trying to drive. She got into some serious foul trouble against Southern Cal, so Coach Moore trying to protect her right now, even though that was her first. And we'll get a chance to see the freshman in her first home game.
I also want to touch on that charge. That was a textbook charge right there. Getting your feet stationed, facing the attacker, and getting set, and letting her have that time and distance to come get you.
There's Kaishi Lunan, top 75 recruit among freshmen. Beautiful back cut, and how about that movement to Blauenfeld?
Maine loves to spread the court, sometimes 5 out. Took advantage of the freshman in her first possession.
This is why Maine is so dangerous in the America East. Elite ball movement. Samuels off on the 3. Traeger, big rebound. Traeger dancing in the lane, no good. Pierre's third chance is in.
Those are the second chance opportunities that you want to see NC State capitalize on. The efficiency that Coach Moore wants to see as they get deeper into the season.
Wolfpack living on the glass in these first 8 minutes. Sane off the screen. Here's Alvarez. The freshman misses her triple. The Las Rosas smothered Spain product. Lunan inside. Her first shot in Reynolds is no good. And right now, if you're Maine, how do you win this battle on the glass?
It's very difficult, of course, because of the size, but you've got to put a body on the side of it. You've got to try and drive them out. Here you see just a high rebound, and Trigger's able to go up. And then right there, Pierre, she's already got position, so Maine really didn't have much chance. So you got to get position and drive them out.
Wolfpack all over the boards in these first 8 minutes. Yet limiting the second chance points, which is impressive given the size of the Pack. Here's Pierre. Incredible position. Misses the jumper. Amy Vashon's group, who's had wins over Gonzaga and Indiana's played JMU the last 3 years. They're not afraid of this moment. Addie Smith kicks it. Wide open 3. Sane misses. And a foul on Trieger, boxing out Smith.
Great job by Smith on the drive and dish there. That is Maine's offense, to try and get kicked out to the shooters. They're just not hitting them right now, but still only down 4. Certainly playing right into Coach Vashon's game plan to keep it a low-scoring game.
So here comes Maddie Cox, who played just 8 minutes Sunday, the Flower Mound, Texas product. One of the junior forwards for the Pack. No seniors on this year's roster for Westmore. And some coaching going on with Wes and his sophomore forward. Back into Smith. Addie spins. That's a tough pass. Clock to 3. Lunan the pick. Lunan 3v1. Brooks grabs it and misses the layup.
I think that might have been intended for Kaden Samuels right there.
A lot of point-blank misses for the Pack. Transition triple. A little more pace in this first quarter. Pierre the rebound. Brooks into 3. No look. Pierre lost it. And neither team's found their rhythm here in the first 9 minutes.
That was a great pass right there by Brooks, just right through Pierre's hands. It doesn't feel like NC State is locked in right now. Here we'll take a look. Brooks in transition. I think it's going to hit her right in the hands. Right there. That would have been an easy layup. She's just got to stay focused and stay intense. That's one of the things Coach Moore has talked about, is to try and stay focused for Camille, because she's so talented, but sometimes get lost out there.
And there was a review. It's ruled Wolfpack basketball. They overturned the call. See the shot clock reset. Zoe Brooks. Fantastic point guard. Trigger inside. Huge mismatch. That's Cox. No good. Samuels the board. Another miss. Who's going to get the rebound? Foul on... That's on Maine. Smith with the grab, her first.
And you see on this strong side here, Maddie Cox did a good job of boxing her out, which made Smith pull her down on that. And it's a great hustle on both sides. You also saw Kaden Samuels.
Drill. It looked like the drill where you put the box over the rim and everybody was grabbing somebody for a rebound. Old school fight in the post. The undersized Black Bears. They came out of hibernation for this big battle in Raleigh. Back into Pierre. That's offensive. Good response by the Maine defense. Coliseum takes the charge.
Bears trying to invade a Wolves den. You never know what's going to happen in that battle.
Nat Geo is cooking for that documentary. How about this charge?
Here you go, Pierre. She gets good position, but instead of her patented fadeaway jumper, she just lowered the shoulder. She's got the advantage in height. I think she could have gone straight up.
Or even like we saw in the Tennessee game, that little one-step Dirk Nowitzki fadeaway.
Right.
It's held the Wolfpack to 3 of 18 shooting. You do not see that from a top 10 program in their home opener. Blauenfeld feeds Sane. Clock to 7. Here's Blauenfeld. Air ball. Lunan with time. Caves it. Samuels. That's not in time, and it ends a low-scoring first quarter. 9-5 out of the gates. Defensive battle here in Raleigh. We're back for the second after this timeout. NC State, Coach K. Yao right outside of Reynolds Coliseum. This is the home opener for the Wolfpack. They've won 23 straight in this building, and through 10 minutes, guys, an uncharacteristic start for Westmore's club.
It's been quite a challenge for both teams. Both teams have more turnovers than made shots, which is not a good recipe for success, but for Maine, it's exactly the strategy they want. Just stick around, try and make some plays at the end to win.
And as you mentioned, Derek, this is the pace that they want to play at. They're just not knocking down shots.
Yeah, Wolfpack 3 of 18 shooting in the first. Maine hit a 3. But the size of the Wolfpack, so impressive in those first 10 minutes. Here's Addie Smith. That's a bad pass for Smith and a quick Maine turnover. Again, though, not a live ball turnover. You'll live with that if you're Maine.
Exactly. It's limiting NC State's transition. Right now, NC State, they've got 3 players off the bench, and maybe that's going to give a little spark to this team. I think if they get a couple of buckets, the crowd's just itching to get into it.
Oh, Lunan gets away with a travel. Well, the top 100 freshman in the country finds Devin Quigley, her first minutes. Cox in the paint. Taking bodies down low. Nice move in the paint.
You like to to see Maddie Cox get physical. We saw in some big games last year that she was that spark off the bench. Coach Moore even mentioned he wants to get these players in to get some more confidence. As
Lorena Awu works herself back from injury, the sophomore forward, Cox getting more time tonight. And there's Maddie with the rebound. Jones penetrates. That's a blocking foul. The Maine bench thought otherwise. And the first on the Bears in the quarter.
We'll take a look at the replay because I thought Maine had good position. Oh, and this is a look at Maddie Cox, her strong move to the basket. She had a huge game against LSU last year in the Elite Eight, scoring 8. And then we'll take another look at the block. Maybe still moving, maybe. So I can see the call there.
Maine has stayed out of foul trouble. There's active defense, and it's off NC State. I love the activity of Sarah Talent. She's been all over the court.
And everybody in Orono is saying, ball don't lie there with that particular turnover, because as soon as the questionable call happened, NC State threw it out of bounds.
Sarah Talent is the best player this summer, according to Coach Vashon, leaning on her senior point guard in this low-scoring game. Wide open. There you go.
That was a miscommunication there between Zam Jones and Lunan. I'm assuming one was supposed to take high, one's supposed to take low.
Talent, a top 10 prospect out of New England, playing tough in the second quarter. Quigley blocked. Good hands by Gruber. The Maine Black Bears, who won the America East 3 of the last 4 years, hanging tough in Raleigh. Smith for 3. The moon ball short. Now the Pack can run in transition. A first quarter full of missed layups. This zone defense causes some problems for the Pack. Here's the 3. Maine who lost 63-62 to St. Joseph's. We're down 15 in the second half. They're showing some resolve in the first half of this one. Another missed 3. Lunan's pass is tipped and stolen. Look at Talon diving on the floor, helping out.
Lunan with 5 turnovers in the first 2 games. That's the one thing she's got to control. Slow the game down a little bit. She's got so much talent. She's just got to get used to the pace of the college game. And that was a great idea there. Just take one more dribble, get down to the baseline, and hit that baseline feed as a bounce pass.
Blauen felt pressured. This Wolfpack team switching well defensively. Westmore challenged this group. They got to be more vocal on this end. Smith, the shot fake, clock to 1, and a prayer is off. Just 2 combined buckets in the second quarter. Offense hard to come by tonight.
I'd like to see State have more movement on the offensive end. You see all of them just standing 10 toes behind the three-point line.
Maddie Cox off on the 3. Quickly a push. And the Wolfpack commit their first foul.
That's not a bad shot there, but I still want to see NC State get a post up, get the ball inside, and if you either make a one-on-one move or if they collapse, then you kick out. I think that's when they're going to get their best look at the 3.
Can players instigate that ball movement? How do you find more of that for the Pack?
It just has to be that person that just steps up and does it. I mean, you see that they're closing out. They're not knocking, NC State's not knocking down jumpers how they want to. Even if you have to tack it to the basket and get on the free throw line and then get your mojo going.
There's Addie Smith inside, reigning America East Player of the Year. Good shot fake. Maddie Cox made life tough, affecting that shot. Trigger. Nice look. Cox there. Good post-to-post pass.
Really like that high-low pass right there. The Black Bears were spread out in that zone. Maddie Cox wide open for the layup.
There's a reason Trigger's on the Lisa Leslie watch list. Best center in the country. Even as a sophomore, that vision puts her at another level. Good drive from Talon. Another missed layup. Smith the rebound. No. Talon in the trees comes out with it. Good ball movement. Blauenfeld's 3. Gruber the board. 4th chance in.
Coach Westmore not going to be pleased with that possession. Way too many offensive boards. NC State is not being physical enough. They've got an advantage in the athleticism today, and they've got to use it.
There's the athleticism. Trigger inside, fouled by Gruber. But if you're Maine winning that third and fourth chance opportunity with all the mismatches in size, very impressive. And
that just comes with grit and effort and being competitive. I mean, they've been on this level of competition before, as Coach mentioned, and they're just looking to grow from every possession, every opportunity.
And no matter how much you talk about it, when you get on that plane to come play a top 10 team, you got to be a little bit intimidated. But the way they're playing right now, they are building confidence with each possession, staying in the game. And NC State's going to have to step up if they want to sort of assert their dominance.
A Pac team that defeated Tennessee and then lost to USC by 1 point. It's an elite resume through 1 week. Coming out of the gate slow in their home opener tonight.
Maine taking their time. Every possession you see them get set up, run their 5 out, their handoffs.
Talon, great movement, and she finishes. How about Smith operating that handoff?
She really is the leader of this team. You see why they struggled last year without her. With her back, that's why they're ranked high in the America East.
Maine graduated 4,000 minutes of experience. Smith does come back, and a foul here on Blauenfeld. That's her first.
You get a great look at Smith at that top of the key. She's got the cuts going both ways, and it's hard to defend. NC State's got to really chase or get some help from the backside. Looks like Quigley wasn't getting over fast enough. But it's difficult to defend, and that's why Maine's running it.
First career home minutes for Adelaide Jernigan, who just checked in, the freshman out of Winston-Salem. See her number 10 right there. Like any freshman in her home debut, hey, who am I guarding? What number do I have?
I've been there.
Free throw.
What play are we running?
There's a top 100 recruit for the Pack at a Bishop McGinnis High School, the Villains. Elite mascot name.
2,528 points in her high school career. You know she can fill it up. She just got to get comfortable in the system.
And as a freshman coming in, your focus is to be a dog on defense. We know you can score. Be where you're supposed to be in position and make sure you're there for your teammates.
Here's Smith challenging the defense. Got away with some contact there. Ball in the hands of young Jernigan. Feeds it to a former freshman of the year in Brooks, who zigs through. Another miss and a foul on the rebound. How about Zoe Brooks? 0 of 4 in 4 pretty point-blank looks.
That is a shot that Zoe makes 1,000 times in a row, but just struggling today. Well, we'll go to break up 4 for the Pack.
For NC State here in Raleigh, this is a defensive battle. 4-point game, 4 minutes and change in the first half. And right now, if you're Wes Mordecai, it's got to be a tough conversation about offense. Nothing clicking on this end.
And that's one of the things he talked about in our coaches call efficiency, and they're not really showing it right now. So I want to see who's going to step up, get those paint touches, dish it out, and be that vocal leader here for NC State.
The Wolfpack have gone deep into their bench in this quarter. 3 freshmen have come in, and for Amy Vachon's club, avoiding foul trouble right now. Gruber has 2, Sane has 2, but the guards are still active. Back into Traeger, 1v3. There you go. Till the Traeger out of the timeout.
Getting the ball into the paint, that's something we talked about earlier. Finally, NC State gets there for a nice, easy-looking jumper.
Maine has executed so well on the back cuts, ball movement, testing this young defense of the Pack. Good crossover talent into 2 and a block for Jernigan with a foul. How about Adelaide as a freshman calling out the referee? Thought there was contact there.
I think Adelaide needs to just settle in a little bit. It was a great job for her to come over and shift. But first you have here Tilda on that inbound play. I'm sure Coach Moore is happy to see that. Instead of going into the defense, she spotted for the shot. Adelaide came over good. That's a good job for her to come over on that help side. If she would have came out a little bit quicker and stood straight up, that would have been a little bit better. You wouldn't see her shooting 2 free throws here right now.
Battling Sarah Talon, the Wyndham, Maine product, one of 6 Mainlanders that have come back and played for their home state. A lot of home pride in the state of Maine for this program. Quigley goes to the bucket quickly.
And that's what NC State's got to keep doing. Aggressive, aggressive, aggressive on offense. Driving the ball.
Maine on this end. Maddie Fitzpatrick kicks it. Addie Smith, tremendous shot fake. But another missed layup. This size of the Pack, so constraining defensively. Jernigan with the handles in her home debut. Jones clears traffic. Zoe Brooks gets to the bucket, and that's where NC State's so dangerous with the ball movement.
It's good to see that ball movement there orchestrated by Zam Jones. You did see Jernigan kind of get in the way of Jones, but how they all got to those 5 spots, that was good to see, and for Zoe to attack that high foot and get to the bucket.
We got a 30-second timeout. Wolfpack up 10, starting to pull away here in the second. State fueled by nice ball movement from the guards.
And Zoe Brooks taking the ball on the reversal right there, and as the defender tries to close out too fast, great shot fake, drive, no help defense. Exactly what NC State needs to do, reverse the ball and attack.
That was Zoe Brooks' first basket after scoring 20+ in her first 2 games. Here's good ball movement in Maine, and a 3 off the side of the backboard. The Black Bears 1 of 8 from deep, struggling to shoot here in this building. Rebound, Brooks. Zoe's an instant creator with the ball in her hands. And count it. 3-point play for Zoe Brooks.
You can tell by the way she looked at the referee, she wasn't really sure what she was going to call, but Devin Quigley did do a good job of just punching it at Maine, going down the court in transition. You see Zoe hits her with that shifty crossover, just step through and straight up to the bucket.
One of the things I've really liked about Zoe's leadership so far this season, when the team has struggled, we saw it against Southern Cal, she really stepped up in the second half, made a few buckets in a row. Today, team is struggling. She's being aggressive. I think that's what you're going to need from a Naismith Player of the Year watch candidate.
On the Nancy Lieberman watch list for best guards in the country, you see possible blood here from Olivia Alvarez. And Amy Vashion's asking the officials, can we review this play for an elbow to the face, which would offset the offensive foul and actually go the other way. That's a smart move from a veteran coach.
Yeah, she's the all-time winningest coach at Maine, and you see why. She's paying attention to all the details.
So the call on the court is this is a defensive foul. Now our crew takes a look.
I think that's just I think that's a basketball move. I think it's just she used her whole body. It wasn't anything excessive with the elbows. You can tell that she tried to pivot that left foot, and it just so happened that the defender was in the way, but I think that's a basketball move.
And you didn't see her extend her elbows at all. She, like you said, a basketball move, kept close to her. The defender was just right there. Just a tough break for Maine.
A hard play to the side here for Cameron Inouye's crew. Call on the court is a foul on the Maine defense. That might come down to interpretation, because you could argue both ways there based on the angle we saw.
I think if Zoe would have been a little more aggressive and it was just arm movement, then that would have been a more obvious offensive foul. But you can tell that the way her body shifts and she tries to sweep through, that's why I think it's a basketball play.
And we'll see what they call here, but I would hate to reward the defender for getting right up in her grill. If you reward that, you're going to see a lot more plays with injuries. Now that look right there, you saw a little bit more of an elbow, so it still could go either way.
I don't know. What do you think, Evan?
Well, in fact, Cameron Inouye has asked her 2 other officials to come in and evaluate. That's how close this call is.
So then the next question is, how does that shift the energy from NC State, or does it? Because they just went on a nice little run here, as you mentioned. Go into it with an and one. If that gets taken away, then you give Maine the opportunity to score down on this end.
At the very least for Maine, this is like a free timeout, an extended timeout here. You talk to the team, you sort of slow the momentum. The crowd's not into it anymore either. So I think at the very least, Coach Vashon, just to get this review, changes the momentum of the second quarter, trying to keep her team in it for the last 3:09 so they go into the second half feeling like they've got an opportunity to upset the Pack.
Here comes the ruling from Cameron Inouye.
We're seeing a thumbs up at the scores table, which I think would indicate no change. But we'll wait for an announcement.
After test, okay. After review, incidental contact will continue with 1 shot by White.
So the call stands and the microphone works.
First home game, you got to work out all those kinks as well. Big play by Brooks, though, stepping up for her team.
understand what Coach Vashon's looking at there. All in good fun. So free throws for Zoe Brooks, who in the second quarter has come to life after a scoreless first. Maine in a 3-minute scoring drought. Talon is deflected. Trigger gets a block.
Kai, one of the things you talked about today was how will they handle that ball screen. You saw a lot bigger hedge by Trigger right there and got the block shot. I think NC State's been a lot more effective. Here coming back on the dribble, instead of just sagging back, Trigger really stepped up on the hedge and got the block. We've seen that with a lot of the ball screens today.
And this was the MO for Westmore. Needed more activity on the defensive end after giving up a 20-point fourth quarter to the Trojans Sunday. No easy looks. Clock to 1. Smith is short. And Addie Smith, rough day shooting so far, 1 of 12. Well, that's pretty quick offense for Zam Jones.
You see how Zam attacked on this right wing, and she got to the middle of the paint. No one was really there to fully stop her, and she hit her bread and butter mid-range.
Jones becomes the 7th different scorer for the Pack. Balance will be the strength of this year's team. Last year it was James and Rivers putting up 20+ a night. Here's Smith wide open. Good offensive board for Fitzpatrick. The Maine Gatorade Player of the Year out of high school last year. Fitzpatrick the shot fake. Maddie to the bucket. That's contested. It was 15-11 a second ago. The Pack have started to find some breathing room. Quigley. Jernigan heaves. That's off. It's a difficult shot if you're NC State. 1 of 8 from deep.
You could see Adelaide was itching to get that shot off. A few feet behind the line.
A few?
Yeah, she might need to step up just a little bit.
Another missed 3 from Maine, who's 1 of 15 from deep. Jones laughing her way down the court after getting trampled. Brooks zips one out. Jernigan's 3 is short.
Now that's a better shot by Jernigan. I like the way that she went to the corner, spaced it out, and got her feet set, and then next time you'll see that being knocked out.
You can sense the frustration from Westmore's staff. Offense a little slow here. Brooks the steal. Zoe dribbles into trouble and earns a whistle.
Yeah, one of the few times that NC State's been able to go in fast break. All right, this is earlier with Zam Jones. She really takes it coast to coast. Nobody stops her. The bread and butter pull-up right there. She is so talented. We've seen her do it as a freshman and now getting more minutes as a sophomore. We're going to see more and more the impact she can have on the game.
With no seniors on this state roster, it's going to be scoring as a unit. Westmore noted our team's going to have to grow up quickly. 3 top 20 opponents in the first 2 weeks, including TCU Sunday.
A lot of teams in this situation will go for a 2-for-1, but Maine has not shown that desire to push. So
I'm going for the extra bubble gum. There's like 4 packs of gum on that table. Final minute of this first half. Amaya Donaldson's just coming to the game for Maine. Here she is. This ball movement, Blauenfeld 3. The second time it's worked. Big triple.
And that's that, I guess, X screen that you see there at the post. Smith just stands there. Whatever she feels as the best read, she hands it off. That time the defensive person from State went under and Blauenfeld knocked it down.
We saw State chase and then they give up a layup. That time they went under, gave up a 3. It's tough to defend.
Closing 10 of the half. Beautiful spin. Jones misses. Quigley to tip. What a fight for the boards. 3 seconds. Time for Blauenfeld. Does not get it off. And that ends the first half. It's a Wolfpack 14-3 run to create this 2-touchdown lead.
And Maine has really slowed the pace. That's what they wanted to do, but they've struggled with their shooting. NC State finally started to spark there, and now they've got a 14-point lead going into half.
We'll be right back after this with more from Raleigh.
special shout out to my dad's service.
My uncle was in the Army, so shout out to him. Your service is so greatly appreciated, and just the work you've done.
Shout out to the Corps of Cadets at Virginia Tech. Thank you so much for all that you do, and thank you so much for supporting women's basketball and women's sports as well.
Special shout out for Veterans Day to my dad. Love you, Dad.
I love those testimonials across the ACC. With Veterans Day tonight, we want to appreciate all of our former and active duty military servicemen and women out there. Their support helps make our country great. And a nice honoring during the first quarter of tonight's game for those members of the military. Always appreciate their service to this great country. We'll go to halftime and get you all set for the second half of this quick break here at NC State. Great night in Raleigh on this Veterans Day. We're getting ready for the second half here at Reynolds Coliseum. Wolfpack home opener. They're up 14 at the break. And look at that wolf with a baby wolf. I love it. The creativity of this Wolfpack band. They're always having fun. Well, I got my little puppies joining us tonight. Kai Crutchfield, Derek Jordan, Evan Budrovich. First quarter was a baseball score. Second quarter, what changed for the Wolfpack offensively?
I think for NC State, they started to get the ball into the paint. They started to be a little bit more aggressive, not play into Maine style. And they limited their turnovers a little bit, only 2 turnovers in the second quarter. So they're starting to get sparked back up.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, they're attacking Maine in that zone. Before they were a little stagnant on the offense, and Maine is doing a better job of giving more effort and competition on the boards and combating against Trigger and Pierre.
Let's dive into those highlights because the State defense was very active early. It led to some transition points for the Pack.
Right, and for NC State, as you mentioned earlier, I think they were shooting a lot of perimeter shots, but you see here in the second quarter, getting the high-low passes to Maddie Cox, getting the interior paint touch to Trigger, and then, of course, the penetration from Quigley and Brooks. They've really stepped up their game a little bit to attack that zone instead of settling.
And a lot of times when those guards from NC State get paint touches, they're looking to score. They're not necessarily playing at the pace that they want to play at fast in transition, but when they do touch the paint, it looks good for NC State.
Wolfpack +9 on the boards, big size mismatch. You see the points in the paint as well. So if you're Maine, how do you handle these next 5 minutes to keep this game competitive at halftime?
Well, just sort of looking at what Maine has done in this game, 2 for 16 from the three-point line. I've seen a lot of shots that were open. They just haven't hit them. They've got to settle in and know that it's still a 10-foot basket, whether there's 5,000 people in the stands or whether the gym is empty. So settle in, make the shots that they're capable of making, and then Adriana Smith, she's only 1 for 14 tonight. She's getting some good looks. She's had some difficult looks with the taller Wolfpack players, but you got to find a way to get her going, because when she gets going, the Black Bears get going.
And I like to see that X off the post offense that you started to see more in the second quarter. They started to get more energy off of that offense.
There's Amy Vachon, the Maine Hall of Famer, both in the state and for her program. A slow first half for the Black Bears. Now on this end, guarding Caden Samuels. Good dish, and Pierre, that's a nice bucket out of the halftime break.
That's one thing Westmore's so good with the plays coming out of timeouts, especially in the second half when it's right in front of their bench. You see good looks for the Pack.
That ball movement's why the Pack had 14 assists a year ago. That was second in the ACC. That ball movement, the veterans, James and Rivers, so good off the ball. This year it's all youngsters. That three's off from Talon.
Another open look for Maine from 3, but they just can't seem to knock it down.
Pierre dishes. Brooks, who started the game 0 of 5 shooting, more of a distributor in that first half. Clock to 10 for Jones. Here's Pierre. Tough floater. What's in her bag, too?
And that's that third Nowitzki fadeaway that I would have liked to see in the first quarter. I'm sure some of those position coaches said, hey, you don't always have to go in and muscle up against those post players.
So Pierre, 5 rebounds short of her third straight double-double. Transfer over from Vanderbilt. Here's the 3 for Sane. There's a nice start from deep.
That's what the Bears are going to have to do. Start knocking down shots to try and stay in this game.
Maine last year 3rd in the country in three-point attempts. They'll let it fly from anywhere. In this game, 1 of 12 in that first half. Brooks dishes. Here's Traeger. What will it mean for this Pack offense when Brooks was the scorer late in games to now being the creator for this group?
I think it's a good balance on the front court, and then also seeing it on the back court too. When she's pushing it in transition, it's nice to see that pace, but it's also a good balance to slow it down in the half court. Pierre here, she sees her, she pops out. Excuse me, this is Cadence. She's on the drop down, and she gets it with that right hand layup. Cadence saw that her help defender came in and dropped down on her, and then Samuels filled in on that opposite block.
Lauenfeld out of the inbounds play, misses the three. 3 buckets, 3 assists for Westmore's team out of the break. Look at Brooks dishing again. Jones off on the triple. Good team rebound from Maine, who really struggled on the glass in that first half. Addie Smith, great baseline move, another pivot, and Traeger holds her own. Samuels gets tripped up, and first foul of the half.
NC State really pushed right there, forced Maine into a tough spot. Drew another foul on the reach in for the Black Bears.
There's a reason Westmore is second among active head coaches in career wins. He just keeps pushing those buttons. Noted the ball movement has to improve after Sunday. We've seen it here in this third quarter. It's that ball movement that allowed UConn last year to win the national title. I mean, Sarah Strong was a superstar, but 20 assists a game, so much where all 5 could score. That's where the Wolfpack could be when this team gets to March. Jones gets inside, and that movement sets up Sam Jones.
You saw it right there. They moved the ball a lot quicker. So on that pass, the reverse to Brooks, back to Jones. She had a little opening to drive and got a nice pull-up.
And all 5 Pack players have scored in this second half. That's the balance Westmore wants to see.
I like how Pierre is so athletic that she's able to guard off that ball handle, off that ball screen.
Addie Smith contested by Traeger, who's put on a great coach's tape defensively. Samuels 3. Well, neither team shooting it well from deep. Here's a 3. Become a 3-point shooting contest in the third quarter.
And you see when NC State is stagnant on the offensive end, there's no energy, and the efficiency starts to go down with that energy as well.
Leads to a 2.5-minute scoring drought for the Pack. Keep in mind, 3 pillar pieces graduated from a year ago. Hayes, Rivers, and James, all ACC caliber. And Brooks lost it. Maine basketball. It's one thing to replace the talent of those players, but then the playmaking ability of those guards, that's hard to replicate through 3 games.
Right, and it's the leadership, too, of James and Rivers. They sort of were the heartbeat of this team, and now somebody's got to step up and fill that role.
Talon with a miss inside. Sam Jones says, I got it. Quick drive. Well, that's how you get the offense going in transition.
One thing I love about Sam Jones is just her energy and her fight. She likes to call herself a dog. You hear it in the interviews, and she really does. She puts her heart onto the court.
Sam noted this offseason with no seniors returning, it's her job to take over and be more vocal at that guard position. Good hands by Brooks. Zoe just keeps going. And fouled in the transition.
You see she's a little frustrated there that she didn't finish. I mean, when it gets down later into the season here in conference, those buckets are going to matter. Those and one buckets. I'm sure Felipe Lopez over there, strength and conditioning coach, might clown her a little bit about that one.
An uncharacteristic slow start for Zoe, as Mallory Collier will sub in, the Millington, Tennessee product. Spent a lot of time this summer working on her conditioning, getting into ACC game shape. Her first action at home this year. Zoe Brooks, the superstar freshman who was first team All-ACC last year. Now as a junior, it's her team. And so far, a ranked win and a 1-point ranked loss on her resume. Smith. Rough shooting night for the America East Player of the Year. 1 of 16 shooting. How does NC State break down this zone? Jones goes right through it. Samuels drives. Here's Jones. Collier the board. Lots of zone breaker on the offensive glass.
I'm glad to see Collier there already in the right position. You saw that she was moving around and still stayed active in that paint, but she was in the right position to get that board and the putback.
First points this year for the junior center. One of the elder statesmen on a young NC State team. No seniors this year for Westmore. Deep three. That's catch and shoot range for Coliseum.
Right there, NC State just sagged off a little too much. Even with the Black Bears struggling to shoot from three, you got to have a hand up in the face.
Sane made 25 threes a year ago coming in from Lindenwood University. No look. Pierre is sitting on those 10 points, 13 shy of 1,000 in her career between Vandy and NC State. Addie Smith gets a new matchup. Well, that's more in her bag now to an 18-point game.
She's got a really good face-up game. If you stay off of her, she can hit that 12, 15-foot jumper. If you come on her, she'll drive by and run that little scoop to the hoop.
That's why Smith dropped 25 and 13 in her debut against St. Joe's. Brooks against three. Creativity to a 10.
And that was such a high arc. She saw that the post defender came up with a high closing hand. It's nice to have that touch, that Kyrie Irving touch there on that drop down.
Zoe Brooks adding even more to her game. There's a chance to be one of the nation's leading scorers this year. So active on that offensive end. Addie Smith on the switch. Smith with 5 on the clock, has to create. This building's ready to explode in Reynolds. Pierre helps do it. Timeout Maine.
Great pass ahead there by Jones. Sam was pushing the ball. Camille Pierre was running the lane, and they pushed ahead here. It's going to be a great finish by Pierre to give the Wolfpack a 44-22 lead here late in the third quarter.
Largest lead of the pack, 22 late in this third quarter. Camille Pierre coming on strong in this second half. She's within 3 points, or pardon me, 3 rebounds of a third straight double-double. In a year where Malaya Coles goes from Wake Forest to Clemson. Tonight, Latson goes from Florida State to LSU. Here are some options with NC State going in the portal, bringing on some big-time scoring. Late in this third quarter, it's been the defense of the pack controlling the game. Look at this activity level from Westmore's unit. No easy shots. Gruber inside. Contested by Collier. Jones. No look dish. Collier the beneficiary.
Another good penetration by Jones there. She's got a couple of assists here in this third quarter. NC State with 3 assists, no turnovers before that. Should be the 4th assist for the pack.
Donaldson's eyes. She's surveying the court, looking for a back cut, an angle to create space. And then the deep three is the cure. Gruber inside. Count it. Nice finish for Lizzie Gruber, sending us to timeout. 24-point game late in the third, and Lizzie Gruber has free throws after this. afternoon's women's doubleheader starts at 3 Eastern. Georgia Tech hosts Jacksonville at McCamish Pavilion. Then Florida State, they'll host Indiana. Big-time matchup in Tallahassee. Both games available on the all-new ESPN app. We're just 3 weeks away from the SEC-ACC Challenge. The ACC won that matchup by 1 a year ago. And it is unique with 5 in the top 20 for the ACC, how they've started so far, especially with Duke off to an impressive start. And we've seen the Wolfpack in 2 ranked matchups.
NC State and the ACC both have a great chance to return to the Final Four like they did a couple of years ago. Part of it is the schedule that they're putting together. Some really tough top 25 teams right here early in November, December.
North Carolina's looked impressive in 2 blowout wins. But all these schedules start picking up major steam as we dip into the end of November. Taishi Lunan rattles out a 3. And that's where the Wolfpack have been living on the boards. Plus 13 on the glass. Clock inside of 6. So Maine's defense has forced a lot of deep threes.
And that's good for Maine. I mean, NC State hasn't shot the ball well for the last 3 games. They did better when they were having those touches in the paint with Pierre and with Trigger. And I would like to see them get back to doing that.
A reach and foul on the drive. Just the 2nd foul for the Wolfpack.
Wolfpack foul number 0, Devin Quigley. Quigley's 2nd personal, 2nd team foul.
Right here on the penetration, NC State reaches in, tries to get it clean. Looks like got a little bit of the body.
And then a wide open air ball. You don't say that too much in a sentence. First home game for the Pack. 2nd road game for Maine. Neither team in rhythm yet. Jones changes that with a 3 and points to the crowd.
Great ball movement around the perimeter. 3 quick passes. Maine couldn't close out fast enough. Jones with the 3.
You can tell Jones is trying to wake this crowd up a bit too. Wolfpack team 18-0 at home last year. One of 3 undefeated home teams in the country. Ball goes out of bounds.
It's nice to see Zam attack on any level, and right here she's attacking that 3-point shot. Before we saw her getting touches in the paint. They're starting to step back at her, but then right there, Maine didn't close out quick enough for her.
Just the 2nd 3 of the game for the Wolfpack. Blauenfeld, great drive down the quarter. Closing moments for the Pack. Lunan looks to the clock. And NC State loses track of time. We know what time it is. It's 4th quarter time. We'll step aside for this timeout. NC State up 22. Daunting non-conference slate for Westmore's unit. We noted the first 2 games of the season. NC State a top 10 strength of schedule a year ago, and it gets even tougher Sunday. How did the Wolfpack build in this final quarter to get ready for this tough stretch?
You know, back when I was playing, every game was a big game. You know, we knew we were going to get challenged early on, and that's film that you can break down. So when you get deeper into conference and then those games start to matter for March Madness, you just have to execute. You have to be efficient on offensive and defensive end and be in the right places at the right time.
So the Wolfpack gear up for top 16 TCU. That's a great rebounding club. A team that'll be dangerous come March. And then Oklahoma in the Big SEC-ACC Challenge. First minutes for Lorena Owu, who gets back and healthy after an offseason up and down with injuries. Owu running the lane. You couldn't tell she was nagging any injuries all year. Quickly off on the 3. Coach Moore said he wanted to dabble with Owu in certain spots. Good chance to do it up 22.
And coming off a knee injury, you're going to have to pick your spots with her until she sort of gets back into game shape. But it's good to see her back on the floor.
Here's Owu active defensively. Great move by Smith.
There are a few people in the stands yelling out travel, but I think she kept that pivot foot down. It's great footwork there.
The former shooter and you would say that. No offensive player ever admits the turnover.
The former coach over here is doing the travel symbol.
Owu, first touch in the paint. So physical down there. Grew with a rebound. Owu last season, 31 games, double figures in 5 contests. And when she gets fully healthy, this Pack team adds even more depth to the paint.
NC State with 5 players off the bench right now,
including Quigley, who launches a 3.
I think Coach Moore's really wanting to see somebody step up. The top 5 players for States looked really good in the opening 2 games, but looking for more bench production.
Blauenfeld off on the triple. Well, that's 43 combined 3-pointers. I don't know if that was another coach's game plan tonight. And a turnover. So Esther Blauenfeld pushes tempo. That's a beautiful transition layup.
And Blauenfeld basically beat all the NC State defenders down the court. I mean, she got a quick dribble and just got it into the basket. And now Maine is here taking a break as NC State dribbles it up the floor.
One thing we've seen out of NC State the last few years is when the bench comes in late, they've extended the lead. And that's going to be a challenge for this group to really keep the intensity up.
Even back to the days of Diamond Johnson, 6th player of the year for the Pack. They've always had weapons off the bench. A jumper here for the Wolfpack bench, lead back to 20. Jaden Donovan last year for Duke was a weapon as the 6th woman of the year in the ACC, helping Duke win that conference tournament title.
Even Zoe Brooks as a freshman came off the bench.
Yeah, the Pack had a run 3 straight years with the bench player of the year in the conference. Good interception. What do you think on this year's team could fill that void for the Pack?
It's a good question. You just saw Quigley there. She's got a little bit more experience, but I still think Lunan might have a higher ceiling when she gets comfortable with the speed of the game. Probably one of those 2 between Quigley and Lunan, depending on the game.
There's the ball in Cox's hands. Good ball movement. Wu down low, and the bench is rolling here in this 4th quarter.
I'm glad that Mighty Cox drug in those 2 defenders that were there in the paint, and Wu saw that she dropped down from the high point to that block to get the open look.
Maine hits that 3, 5th triple for the Black Bears.
Saints heating up a little bit in the second half.
Maine's got a tough test this week. They'll head to Iowa State. Audie Crooks and another top 20 team on the docket for Maine. As Wu saves that. Quigley in the paint. Wu muscling. Blocked by Gruber. Back and forth pace. Sane. Jones called for the offensive foul.
I think Jones just needs to slow down. You saw that she was looking to make a play there in transition, but there were already 3 Maine defenders in the paint. Zam Jones attacks that first defender, but then there comes 1 and 2 Maine defenders that come up to stop her. Her being a point guard and a potential spark on this NC State team, just dribble the ball out, got the lead, work the offense.
Yeah, for the last 2 years, Jones watched Isaiah James zig and zag her way through plays like that.
Maybe that's how she got her name Zaza.
Playing now with the Dallas Wings, the WNBA. One of 6 first-round picks out of the ACC, including Sonia Cintron, who's with Washington. That 3 just rattles out. This year's league, what Toby Fournier has done in the first week, averaging 25 a night for Duke. Very impressive. Brooks the same. Hits the 3.
That's one thing that Zoe's really wanted to focus on this offseason, improve her 3-point shooting. That's her first one of the year.
Brooks only made 14 threes a year ago. Good to see her develop that part of the game. Addie Smith, nice drive, but missing on the layup.
Double-double watch for Camille Pierre there. That was her 10th rebound. She averaged a double-double at Vanderbilt and picking right up here at NC State 3 straight games.
Officially a double-double for Pierre, wanting a couple more points. Smith's on an island. She's shooting 3 of 21 tonight. Perfect pass. This offense runs through Addie Smith.
It's an excellent pass by Smith there on that backdoor cut, but that's the 2nd time that Lunan's been caught on that during this game. It'll be great film for her to go back and watch. as a freshman to bump those cutters.
For a senior post player to have that kind of vision, so impressive.
I know she's struggled tonight, but I still see the talent in her and why she's a former America East Player of the Year with a chance to do it again as a fifth-year senior.
Just her second game back from a season-ending ACL tear. Blauenfeld runs the lane, and here comes Maine within 18.
You can see NC State kind of fell asleep there as they're running back in transition. Wu was a little upset with that call, but even if you don't get the call, you still have to run back and support your teammates on defense.
Good pass there by Destiny Lunan. And you really see the talent in Lorena Wu. She's got such a high upside, and as she gets that injury back, she's going to be great.
Maine in the midst of back-to-back ranked foes. Smith just struggling with her jumper, but her passing has been next level. Jernigan's come in for the pack. Her first appearance. Wu is fouled on the way up and will take the media.
Maine is still playing very hard tonight. You're going to see right here where they get that backdoor cut. Maine's been keeping it close. That's the push in transition for a big bucket. And then NC State came back. Lorena Wu powered up. She's going to get the bucket and push NC State into the lead going into the last 3 minutes.
A Hall of Famer for the Maine program. She's worked hard to keep players within the state. Maddie Fitzpatrick, Gatorade Player of the Year out of Maine, has come in as a true freshman. This speaks to not only basketball in the Northeast, but the commitment of Maine to homegrown products.
And I think having a coach that played at Maine really leads into that. And there's something about the pride of playing for your home state. And Kai could talk to this too from Raleigh. You just play a little bit harder.
And not even just, you know, being in your hometown, but having all the family and friends that are there to come support you.
The arena is known as the Pit. It is an electric atmosphere out there in Orono, Maine. Maine has won. They've been in the finals of the America East 9 of the last 10 years. So it's not just homegrown products, it's winning basketball games. They're so important.
Coach Vashon talked about it's a winning culture, and great three right there by Blauenfeld. But it's a winning culture, and it draws players in. They want to be a part of that, and a chance to win championships and go to the NCAA tournament.
And then it's bringing in players like Esther Blauenfeld out of Denmark, adjusting to the culture, finding her zone as a senior. Good steal. And then a giveaway from Olivia Alvarez.
And I'm not sure if y'all have noticed, but the shot clock now on the half court is only resetting to 20 seconds instead of 30 seconds because they don't need that 10 seconds to get back over the court.
Right, that's something the players have just got to make sure they're very aware of the clock. We saw at the end of that third quarter a lack of awareness.
A game that the Wolfpack have led by as many as 24, but it was a defensive first half. You can sort of hear the groans and the moans from this crowd. They want to see the Wolfpack explode. It's 23 straight home wins. Pierre adds some jolt late in the fourth.
Well, Adelaide Jernigan is still looking for her first college bucket, so I think you'll see them try and kick the ball to her, see if she can break that seal.
You can hear Coach Moore coaching Adelaide through the whole defense, making sure she's in the right spot.
Here's Jernigan, who was a 2,000-point scorer at Bishop McGuinness High School here in Winston-Salem. Little jumper for the pack in the paint. So NC State now gears up for TCU Sunday. That is a huge competition, big battle. Horned Frogs, the favorites in the Big 12 this year, along with Iowa State. And Smith, back-to-back jumpers.
TCU, NC State had quite a game last year in Fort Worth. Horned Frogs got the best of the pack. So NC State will be looking for a little bit of revenge.
A little friendly fire there with Addie Smith getting knocked over.
And that's a good idea there by Lunan, but she had the help defender over there. When I played, there was a drill, and if the help defender was 2 feet in the paint, you either skip it or pass it back up so that she can whip her leg open in order to get to that high-low seal there.
30-second substitution timeout for Maine, which will bring in 3 fresh new faces, including Mackenzie Morey, the freshman guard out of Connecticut. Emmy Streams, the Maine product herself. She played at Bangor High School, so 5 minutes down the road from the arena.
Looking forward for Maine in this season. I know this is a tough game going against the top 10 team, but you see a lot of discipline. They're very good running their sets with that X screen, the handoffs. They've got a lot of potential going into conference season, and when you're in a one-bid league, your goals are regular season title, tournament title, so these games sort of take on a different significance. It's all about getting ready for when the conference season starts, and I think this is a good test for them that'll help them build.
Vermont with Catherine Gilwey, preseason favorites. Maine right there, they were second in voting. Addie Smith's going to be a big part of that when she's back healthy. Cracking some jokes with Coach Vashon. Love to see that in this fourth quarter. Jernigan catch and shoot. Sadly, that doesn't count, but the creativity is there.
The fans still love it, though. The fans
Zoe
love
Brooks
it.
is like, what do you mean that doesn't count? It works in practice.
The Patton did bounce it off the shot clock shot. I bet if her whole career, she'll never be able to make one like that again, so it makes it memorable, even if it doesn't count.
The rest of us in the gym get the letter H watching that shot. A sideways 3 off the bench. Now some transition buckets. Jernigan gets on the board for the first time.
And there it is, her first bucket as a collegiate player. First of many for Jernigan.
The 5-star prospect right here in Winston-Salem. And a foul for Jernigan.
You like the aggression there on defense. You like the aggression there on defense from Jernigan. But you see here, Lunan gets the outlet out to Jernigan. Jernigan sees that one-on-one. She is a lefty, so she wants to get back to that sweet spot and finishes with the lay.
Emmy Streams with her first touch. Emmy known as the consummate team player, 3-year contributor for her home state. Maddie Fitzpatrick, the true freshman. There's some good looks here in the fourth quarter for Maine. 20 points in the final quarter.
Maine's done a good job of keeping it close. 19-point game is very impressive for them.
Third straight double-double for Camille Pierre, and the top 10 Wolfpack defend home court. That's a 24th straight home victory for West Morse Club, and a good battle with one of the favorites in the America East, the Maine Black Bears. Zoe Brooks puts up 14. Camille Pierre does her part offensively. And a game where the Pack struggled a little bit on offense, but Derek, in that second half, they found their rhythm to put away Maine.
I think their focus in that second half was really being more aggressive, getting the paint touches, and they did a good job. Knowing that it was going to be a slow-paced game, they still worked hard and took home the victory.
We're going to talk to Camille Pierre in just a moment. But here in this home opener for the Pack, they're getting all situated with post-game celebrations. Wow, and Kai Crutchfield handing off the headset. That's pretty nice. Hey, Camille, what's going on?
Not much. How are you?
Hey, first and foremost, another double-double for you. That seems pretty common. How about your first 3 games so far?
I feel like that's just not even the goal, but the expectation. So just understanding that's what I'm here to do and helping the team in any way I can.
And Camille, this was your first game from Vanderbilt coming into Reynolds Coliseum. How did it feel to play on this home court where school you talked about being your dream school?
It feels good. It feels good just to be where my feet are at. So I'm just super happy to be here.
It was an interesting first half offensively. What did Westmore say? How did you guys figure out your offense in the second half?
We just had to pick up the pace, honestly. We weren't really moving the ball as much as we needed to. So just understanding that and going into the second half with those just changes.
And then you've got a ranked matchup with TCU coming up on Sunday. So what's the focus about getting back and trying to get another ranked win?
Just understanding that we're more than capable and being a team, locking in on the scout, and just doing all the little things right.
Thanks, Camille, for the time, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Camille Pierre on her home debut. She's enjoying some camera time, too. I don't blame her. The rest of our Wolfpack team, they run away with a 24th straight home win. And a lot coming up this year for broadcasts here at NC State. Thanks for joining us on ACC Network Extra. Home opener for the Pack. It was a slow start, but an impressive second half from Pierre and Brooks doing their part. A lot to celebrate tonight. Maine Black Bears put up a good fight, and on Sunday, ESPN comes to town for a top 25 matchup. Derek Jordan, Kai Crutchfield, Evan Budrovich, Lucas Raycraft, and Daniel Zofel. We say goodnight from Raleigh. It's a presentation of ESPN.